They're probably getting ads for sugar stuff, be it because it's kind of Cartoon Network.
The
Let's
Candy
let's.
Kingdom.
I'm gonna start. I'm ready.
Adventure Guys. Adventure Guys. Now it's time for Adventure Guys.
All right.
Hey, welcome to Adventure Guys, the podcast for humans and dogs. I'm Eric the Human.
And I am Nick the Human, and welcome. We are recording this episode. I'm going to let you in, listeners, on a little bit of a different schedule than we normally would. Usually, this is a Friday treat, as we've told you in the past couple episodes. The week's been hard, but then me and Eric get together. It's nice to have a Friday night plan when you're just stuck inside at home. So we talk about, like, our favorite show. Adventure Time. But this week we're doing it a little bit earlier on Wednesday. And you know what's funny? I just called it our favorite show. If you've been with us this whole time, you'd know that I hadn't seen the whole show. Thus, should I be calling it my favorite show? But Eric, it's Wednesday. Wednesdays are tougher for me. Wednesdays and Thursdays are some of the toughest days of the week. And I put in Adventure Time tonight at 8:30, or 8 o'clock, and I just felt better. I was just so happy to be watching Adventure Time. And I was like, if that's not the marker of a favorite show, then I don't know what is. You could really intellectualize what your favorite show is. You could try to figure it out with thought and reason and logic. But at the end of the day, if you put on a show and it just makes your day turn around, I got a new favorite show.
Yeah, I mean, the days of the week don't mean much to me.
Oh shit.
I don't even really see daylight in general anymore. So
Yeah, I'm on a Monday, Friday. But we changed it up because frequent guest Sean Harvey, who happens to be my brother, if you hadn't picked up, and I are going on a trip out into the desert. We are going to drive 7 hours into far west Texas. We've got a cabin, which is in the literal middle of nowhere. And we're going to post up and be creative and hike and write music and drive and do all the stuff you do in the desert.
outrun the coronavirus. Hasn't made it that far out there yet.
Yeah, I mean, the really scary part, I mean, it's not scary because luckily Sean and I got coronavirus, as longtime listeners will know. And yeah, luckily I got coronavirus. That was what I just said. That was my sentence. And that's how I feel about it. I'm really glad that I got it. But we have antibodies. I think they're most likely still active, so that's cool. But anyway, that just protects us from getting it while we're out there. Because if you were to get out there, there's like like where we're staying, the closest hospital is something like 2-hour drive away, and it's like a hospital that has like one ventilator in it, like 2 people work at the hospital. It's one of those things. Eric, I just sent you in the chat here the Airbnb that we're staying at, so you can take a look at it. It's right outside of Big Bend National Park, like almost inside of Big Bend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's really the desert.
Dude, it is the desert. 8-foot by 12-foot little cabin that we're living in for the day. The address, like the street address that you see at the bottom there. So that's just the address on the road. You get there, and then there's like a gate and a dirt road that then you drive like a mile on the dirt road off the highway, and you go out here, and then we're there. And it's crazy. Last time we went out there, I kind of freaked out in the first night. Sean was like, dude, you got to be ready because it is so quiet and silent in the absence like of everything. Like you've never experienced anything like this, like no light pollution. And we were in like a little neighborhood last time and it freaked me out. Like this time we are going to be like on a 10-acre plot with nobody near us. Like it is going to be intense. But I think good. I think probably hopefully cleansing. I was working hard today to try to get ahead on work so I can just like turn off my phone. I'm not going to really have much of any sort of Wi-Fi, so that'll be good.
Damn. You can get some pretty crazy places on Airbnb, I guess. I've never actually. No, that's not true. I have. Yeah, I have used an Airbnb in Newark, New Jersey.
Okay. Yeah, well, like here, I mean, the cool thing about West Texas, it is kind of trendy to go out there, especially like Marfa is like a trendy spot where like
Sure, yeah.
your like rich LA people will fly down and have a wedding or something there. But there's a reason that people do that is because it is genuinely cool. And out there it's like it's the last bastion of just like deserted America where it's just completely like uncharted land where people have plots and like the government is like people are not out there. The taxes are the lowest because like the population density is so low. So like you basically you take care of your land. You don't get a whole lot from the government in terms of like your utilities, and you just live off the land. And like Sean and I were looking on, you can still buy land out there for like absurdly cheap, like 5-acre plots for like $8,000 or something. Like, insane.
Texas is it gets really rural really quickly.
Yeah.
Like you leave the cities and it's it's a very intense change. The Dallas-Fort Worth metro area, like Denton is like the northernmost part of that. And you go one town north of Denton and it's like things are immediately like there's nothing. Everything is so spread out. I'm thinking of actually the initial plan was to record the next Holophonics album at an Airbnb, hopefully like somewhere just north of the DFW, Golden Triangle. You get out of that area and you can find a house that's super cheap, that's just very far apart from any other house. And I just drive down with all my equipment and we'd just record there for like a week.
Oh, that'd be a blast.
Who knows when that's going to happen?
Maybe I'll drive up and we can do an Adventure Guys or something.
Yeah, that'd be rad. I was supposed to be in Texas like a million times by now, but we are so far away from vaccinations. And dude, my dad is like 70 million years old and obviously eligible for a vaccine. And they told him that like, hey, just go make an appointment. And he goes to make an appointment and they're like, hey, we're booked up through April. So we're not going to schedule any more appointments after that.
Sorry.
They, I guess they said half of America might be vaccinated by the summer and then 3/4 maybe by the fall. Like, I'm at the very bottom of the list.
Me too. I'll be in the last quarter for sure.
So I don't know when I'm gonna get back down to Texas when the Holophonics are gonna have a chance to do anything again. It's kind of a bummer. Timetable keeps getting pushed farther and farther back. I mean, I know some bands are able to like everyone self-quarantines for a couple of weeks, and then they go into the studio and they do it safely. But in order for me to get there, I have to travel across the country. So that it would never be possible.
Well, in the meantime, the record's firmly announced now. You alluded to it on past your last covers album. It's firm.
Oh yeah, Banjo Skazooie, great.
Well, it exists, and that's at least something to keep things warm while this time persists.
Our final cover album. It is. I mean, it's pre-order is open. It's not released yet, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's been finished since September.
You talked about it on here about a huge project. This is the huge project you had talked about, right?
Yeah. Every step we get closer to the release is I'm just more and more relieved that it's finished.
Yeah.
We're not doing covers anymore.
What's Up is track 1, main title song. It's pretty impressive. You nail it. It's recorded well. You play well on it. Like, good job.
Thanks.
And I can't wait for the new originals. Go listen to Sunk Cost, everybody.
Yeah.
Or Phantom Arrival. I think really underrated.
We were supposed to have a new full-length album like on the way right now.
It's pretty much written, right?
Yeah. I'm almost done demoing it. I just got a vocal track from Harold that he sent me. So I'm finishing up just a couple more things, and the album will be like almost 100% written and demoed in a week or two. We just need to get in a room and rehearse and record it.
Sweet. Well, I'm excited. I can't wait to hear more. I love your band, as you know, and you make very inventive, fun music.
Thanks.
Which those two words are not usually going together. So I think that says something. I made some new beats this week. I've been working on. I think I might try to do some like continuous DJ mixes. I think that might be fun to do. Where you do like an hour mix and it's like through songs, and I'll weave in maybe some stuff, maybe some original music, or maybe just some speaking. I don't know. That could be fun.
You have like DJ software for that?
I don't. I was thinking about just making it in Logic.
Yeah, have you ever used Logic Mainstage?
No.
I used it a long time ago. There was maybe a year, like a decade ago, when I was doing occasional solo electronic performances. It was a very different time. And the workflow for Mainstage is pretty nice if you're used to Logic and you don't want to learn all the ins and outs of Ableton.
Yeah, that's me. What I want to make is, I've been working on this with my friend Nate, and I guess this is a good place to talk about it since we've got a nice little tight-knit community of people listening, is I want to make the ultimate barbecue playlist and put it out next summer around 4th of July and make it into like a continuous mix. So if you're out there and you have your favorite barbecue songs, like hit us on the email at didyousee@gmail.com, or favorite summer movies, or especially 4th of July movies. I want barbecue rock. I want hamburger rock. I want hot dog on the grill. Your dad flips it to you music. I want fresh cut grass music. A lot of it is going more towards like the sun baked funk side of things. There's some New Orleans. There's like some southern.
Oh, that's where you're going?
Sort of funk stuff. There will be just more like rock in there, but
I mean, my mind immediately just went to Steely Dan and the Eagles.
Oh, Steely Dan's definitely going to be on there. You believe me that if it's my barbecue playlist, that Steely Dan and Grateful Dead will be in there. But I'm trying to go deeper, and I want to make something that you could put on a party. So I'm really interested to hear what people think. You think of barbecue? You think of Eagles and Steely Dan? That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it would just be a subgenre of dad rock.
Yeah. What I've got going so far is a little different, but we'll see. Hit me with your suggestions. If you think of any, Eric, that you think would be good, hit me.
Okay.
But speaking of dads, how about Finn's dad, Martin? How about that guy? I want to talk about it. Yeah.
Episode discussion.
Finish my thought. Yeah. Fuck. Last episode, Eric, you said this one's gut wrenching, and boy was it. Really, really sucks.
Yeah, Finn is at one of his lowest points in the series.
Yeah.
This episode.
Yeah, this is a hallmark. This is kind of a major episode in Adventure Time history, I would say. Right? Like,
yeah.
Finn's background is a mystery as we come out. We don't know who his parents are. We don't know where he came from. And we're really getting some answers on this. And it is not answers that you would ever hope to find or expect.
Yeah, it's sort of the culmination of the Lich storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't it's weird because this is the beginning of season 6.
Yeah.
It sort of dovetails into Finn's backstory through line.
Yeah, and now this is interesting because this is episode 2 of season 6. This really could be a season finale. Like that this wasn't a season finale is pretty interesting to me, right? Because you're wrapping up the Lich storyline, all intents purposes. You got closure on this, and you're also setting stuff up differently. I guess maybe it's not enough of a cliffhanger to leave the season off with, but
yeah, I think this was the resolution to a cliffhanger from the season 5 finale.
Yeah.
I don't remember all the particulars.
I guess this is how shows work. They don't want to give you all. They don't want to wrap it up nicely, so you go away after season 5 and go, that's nice. Now I don't have to worry about Adventure Time for a while.
Yeah,
no, they want to keep you.
Also, I'm not sure the way that these Cartoon Network shows air is so strange because the season 5 finale, it says here, aired on March 17th, 2014, and then the season 6 premiere was April 21st, 2014. So just a month later.
Yeah,
they just took a couple of weeks off.
This is when we're in the throes of a ton of episodes for a season, right?
Yeah, well, they take weird breaks in the middle of the season, even sometimes at what might seem like a logical stopping point. But then when they pick up, it's still just a continuation of that season. And then the season ends, and they just immediately go on with the next season. It's weird. Craig of the Creek did that.
Yeah.
Have you? You haven't caught up on Craig of the Creek.
No. I'm deep. I've watched the pilot, and then honestly, remember for a while it wasn't streaming.
Right. Well,
and so I couldn't watch it, and then now I've just been in Steven Universe, which the way they break up those seasons is really weird to me too.
Yeah, that it is a little bit strange. It seems like HBO Max puts new seasons on 6 or 7 months after the season finale airs. So I was hoping we were going to get Craig of the Creek season 2 in December, but we got it January 1st.
Yeah.
But season 3 is already like halfway through. And I don't want to wait for season 3 to finish at some irregular airing schedule and then another 7 months on top of that. So I think I'm going to start buying the season 3 episodes on iTunes because that's like the only way to watch it, I guess.
I can't wait to watch it. I'm really excited. I rewatched the pilot the other day with Sean, and he wasn't paying attention, but I was just like, I'm really liking how they're setting up this show. It's
hilarious. The music is wonderful. The music is really, really good. Like, Jeff Rosenstock went above and beyond. You could tell how much he gives a shit about writing the music for that show.
I love that. I love when people give a shit. It's really great.
Yeah.
And you feel it in Adventure Time. Everyone gives a shit on Adventure Time. They definitely made the best thing they could. Yes, I mean, like, so talking about this episode, it's the Lich. I admittedly haven't seen the whole Lich arc yet, like in the whole thing, but it's cool. You can come in. I came in and I got what was happening, and they had captured him. They were bringing him to the Citadel to go be put in jail, right? And he gets put there, and this is a great bit of foreshadowing because he's there, and they go, like, "Oh, I guess this is what the jail is," and Finn says something great, which is like foreshadowing, where he says, "Jake, some people make the world a worse place to be just being around." And he's like, the bad apples, put them at the bottom of the ocean, leave them there, I say. And then very next thing is that Jake goes, "Hey, who's that weird kid down there? He looks just like you." His clothes, and then you realize it's his dad. So it's like a clever bit of, I think, foreshadowing, because as we come to know that Finn's dad is one of those people that maybe Finn was describing, that they make things worse just by being around.
Yeah, Martin Mertens, what a jerk. It's such a anticlimactic reveal, too, because they've been building up who's going to be, this character, Finn's dad, and all the backstory will be revealed. And then he's just like, "Oh, hey, kid, I'm going to peace out."
Oh, I mean, it's way more, even more heart-wrenching than that, because what could have been framed in Finn's head as that peace out, or he left him there, or you don't know the motivations, In this episode, they make it painfully clear that it was no accident that he abandoned Finn, but this was an active abandoning of his child and responsibilities. And how do we know that? Because in this episode, he hardcore abandons Finn multiple times. And let me tell you about it. So he gets unfrozen out of his jail, right? They're asking what's happening. All the other criminals are getting unfrozen and are starting to battle the guardians. And he's like, look, this one guardian, once the last guardian dies, then this whole place goes down and we got to get out of here. At the same time, the last guardian shoots and a piece of his like right leg is vaporized and all that's left is the bone. So he says, hey, you got to go get this goop and you got to like heal me. And he gets his name. He calls him Flynn. He's like, hey, Dad needs this. And Finn is like, the whole time is like, hey, I just want to talk to you about this. Like when Jake goes, hey, Finn's your son. What's his reaction? But, oh, good for you. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Now, Finn comes back with this like healing magic goop that's on this island, and it's going to heal Martin, his dad's leg. And he goes to him and he wants to talk to him. And Martin's like, hey, you got to give it to me. He asks him and he goes like, why'd you leave me when I was a kid in the forest and all this stuff? And he kind of like can't get the right answer. He doesn't know. It's honestly clear that he probably hasn't really even thought about it since he did it, and it doesn't even like haunt him. And he goes, who knows? And then to skirt away from the responsibility, what does he say? He goes, I don't know. Who's to say, man, what even happened? I mean, maybe it was you who left me. The most audacious thing you could say. And I just love that they're mad, and especially Jake is just visibly disgusted by this guy. He like wouldn't even acknowledge him as his son. The first time we said it, I'm just so mad, riled up talking about it. And so anyway, then he heals the leg. And at this point, the Lich is coming for them. Now, I'm talking 2 seconds after he healed the leg. They go, well, now we can fight the Lich as a family. And they turn around, and Finn's dad has already abandoned him and is swimming in the ocean to get away with the other criminals. And his dad says, when they look around, what does he say? He says, I just have to go to the store. I'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
Like the trope of the dad just leaving the family. Oh, fuck, man. And then they're like,
scumbag, this character.
Yeah. And then I want to talk about the next thing that happens is, so he's getting away. The Lich comes and like puts them all to sleep with his magic and is like, you're all alone now. And he goes on this long soliloquy about like how he's come for Finn. He's like, I am beyond strength. I am the end. And
yeah, it's kind of a classic Lich Ron Perlman monologue.
Yeah.
I see it memed a lot. People are really big fans of the Lich on the internet. They think he's a cool villain.
Nice. Well, I want to know more about that from you because I haven't seen all the Lich. I'm curious about what he symbolizes because in this show, we're going to Nick Deep Dive territory. I did get a little bit of symbolizing from the Lich in that at that moment that Finn's dad, who's been ignoring him, now has just shown his true character in the face of evil, and that is he is a coward and he's a deserter and he does not care for his loved one. In that same moment now, the Lich comes, almost to sort of symbolize the darkness that would be overtaking an abandoned child such as this and is getting close to death and into these parts. And he's saying, I'm beyond strength, I'm the end, sort of like the darkness overtaking him. And what I thought was really cool was Finn, without even trying, in his sleep sort of has some of that goop that heals and hits the Lich and gets the darkness away. And he turns the darkness, grows and grows until it's a not scary baby. Now, that symbolizes a few things to me. I think it symbolizes that no matter the darknesses in our lives, like I don't know if this is true or not, but there might be a way that if you come at it with this certainness of yourself, like maybe you could demystify whatever is being harmful to you. I'm saying that I'm realizing I'm probably wading into territory I don't know about. Like, because if someone had some completely terrible trauma, for me to say they could turn it into a cuddly baby is wrong. But there's something about like Finn's being a kid and just with the naivety and his spirit and that he travels the world with, coming faced here and just gets it away with ease. Like, there's something there that I like, and he's not letting this darkness consume him just by being his positive self. Does any of this track with you?
Sure.
Well, so yeah, I got.
I don't know. My take on the Lich is that it is maybe the biggest red herring of this show, in that he's kind of a one-dimensional villain. He represents basically pure evil. Like, he's an ancient cosmic force that is just there to be evil. So there's not a whole lot of room for development in that character arc.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of Lich fandom on the internet being like, oh, they ended his storyline too soon and they should have brought him back for the finale because Golb wasn't a cool series finale, ultimate villain. They didn't build up the Golb story enough. But I don't think the show Adventure Time is about good versus evil. It's about like the characters and their relationships to each other. So yeah, I mean, there's good versus evil type conflicts that happen, but where you would seem like that's an important thing in a children's show, it's not that important or impactful as some of the smaller moments between the characters throughout the 10 seasons. Like, the Lich's storyline comes in and out. He's not really the ultimate antagonist to Finn's protagonist, because we know that Finn isn't really even the protagonist.
Well,
in the sense that this show has one at all.
Here's what I would say. You're obviously far more scholared on this show and have watched it more, and I'm still learning about it. But with the amount that I've seen, I would say that I hear what you are saying in that the central conflict of the show is not good and versus evil. It's about the characters. But I would definitely say that good versus evil type conflicts are in the show a lot, and they are central to it. Is not like the driving force of the show, or it doesn't feel like the ethos of the show is to talk about that conflict. But I do think that it's like very present in the show.
Yeah, I think good versus evil in Adventure Time is more of just a set piece rather than a plot device.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it might skew into plot device, but like in the overall arc of the show, like if you were to boil this show down to its essence, it would not be, that show really was about good versus evil. Like my beloved Twin Peaks, you could really do that with. If you really want to get into it, that's and trauma and how we deal with our trauma is like huge in that show, and there's a lot there. But you can kind of start breaking it down to these bigger themes, the whole Twin Peaks universe. I haven't seen enough Adventure Time to say you can do that, and I'm sure people do, but it would definitely be more character driven, and there's a lot more sort of going on. I think there's a lot of stuff, in this, I was also struck by in this episode to this point, in that a really nice moment after, so Finn's dad gets away, Finn is trying to keep him there, and the dad is like, hey, can you, like, he's coming up to talk to him on the ship as they're going to go away. He's like, hey, can you speed this thing up? Like, that guy's moving fast. And like multiple times just trying to get the fuck out of there so he doesn't have to talk to his like son that he abandoned. And eventually does get away. Finn's arm breaks off, his magic, like green arm, and then he falls down, and then Jake gets him out of the ocean, and he's sitting there, and I just feel like he's there with Jake, his adopted brother, and then the worm comes out and is crying himself, and then like curls up on his lap, sort of like maybe like a cat or a dog would, and Finn gives a smile, and it was, I don't know, it was pretty heartwarming because it really touched me in the way that like things can go really bad in really monumental ways, and like the power of friendship or chosen family can be very strong, and it made me just like happy to see that. Where I thought that was a nice moment.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I guess the episode is really about. Which is to say that the Lich storyline isn't even so much culminated as it is sort of discarded.
Yeah.
In an almost ironic way,
Mm-hmm.
where it's this super villain is now just an adorable baby.
Yeah.
And there's a much heavier emotional theme regarding what happened with Finn's dad. That's the actual focus here.
Right. And that's very Adventure Time in your way. And and so that's a baby, and because this magic goop makes all your like things grow back. So there is some sort of symbolism there, right? Where it's like the hairbringer of death. The inverse of that is the most cuddly, cute baby you've ever seen. Like the alive version of death. And what's really great too, so Starchy has busted through in this like dimensional portal, and they go back to Candy Kingdom. And as they're doing that, who do we see but my favorite character on this show? That's right. Tree Trunks.
I was just about to divorce Mr. Pig.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, like when Tree Trunks starts doing this stuff, you go like, Tree Trunks isn't like as cuddly grandmother as you thought. Like she you know what I mean? Like, oh, that's a different side of Tree Trunks. Mr. Pig, I think we need to get a deep, and then the baby's there, and they come out and the baby's there, and she puts her like arm on Mr. Pig and goes, well, this changes everything. It's just like, oh, now we're back in the world. We're here with funny characters.
Yeah, from what I remember, the next several episodes are pretty low stakes in terms of conflict, and a lot of it is about just Finn, like the emotional toll these events have taken on Finn.
Mm. Yeah.
Have you watched the episode The Tower?
I don't think so.
It's 2 episodes after this. It's one of my favorite episodes. I think it's maybe one of the top 20 episodes of Adventure Time, according to like fan rankings and stuff.
Oh wow!
It's definitely a well-known episode, and it's so heavy.
Oh, I would love to watch it. Soon. I'm going on this trip. I've got to tell you, I'm really tired right now from like this crazy ass work day. I got to go work after this, and I got to pack for the trip, and take out the trash. But I would love to just call out tomorrow and just watch Adventure Time. Maybe order some poke.
What, you can't get that in the desert?
No, I had poke for dinner though. Just want it again. That's sweet, sweet poke. Eric, did you see the snail?
No, I didn't see the snail. Nick, did you see the snail?
No, I didn't see the snail.
Okay. It didn't even cross my mind. I was getting all my audio files ready for this podcast, and I opened up the snail theme song to have it here, and I was like, oh my gosh, it didn't even cross my mind to look for this snail. It didn't even register like, oh, I just watched an episode and I forgot to look for it. Like it didn't even occur to me until I looked at the snail theme song .wave.
You're like, oh, fuck. Yeah. Similarly, and I was having you're wrapped up in it. I was having lots of thoughts, doing my old fashioned Nick shit and taking too many notes to remember to look for it. Damn it. But we'll get back at it. Miscellaneous Mania?
There's things you may not know. Those Eric and Nick will show you all the trivia in
All right. You have anything you would like to begin this section with today, Eric?
Not really.
I have an observation which I just really enjoyed is I mean I think it's everyone enjoys this, but the title cards are always just a delight, you know. And it really this one got me because I was like, why? Like immediately I saw the title card, Escape from Citadel, and the title card is Starchy on a train.
Yeah, yeah, it got me the same way. I was like, what? How does this tie in?
What is this? And I love Starchy. My favorite episode, Eric, as you know, involves a nice plot line between Starchy and Tree Trunks, which is, you know, just the two characters you always wanted to come together finally coming together. And so I don't know. I thought that was pretty funny, and then it comes back in. But I remember just seeing, I was like, how in the shit is this gonna happen?
Yeah, the guy who makes portals. That was a nice little way for them to go home after it was all over.
Oh yeah. It was like, oh, at least that happened. Now they can just kind of go home easily.
I forget who those criminals are. I think they're important in some way.
Yeah, I mean, that was a thing. You're watching that and you're just like, shit, they're letting all these criminals that were bad enough out that they were like frozen in stone.
The Ancients is what they're referred to as.
Yeah, it's like, this cannot be good.
I don't remember their whole deal.
Yeah.
I forgot that Prismo wasn't in this episode.
Yeah.
I remembered everything that happened in this episode, but I thought it would start with Prismo sending them off. And
hey guys, it's me, Prismo. I love.
Yeah, I guess the Prismo episode was the one right before it, episode 1 of season 6, and then they don't even bother like having him say goodbye. This episode starts right in it.
Yeah, which is cool, which I love. Yeah. I thought that I saw Prismo at some point, and I was like, no, that's just another guy with a big neck or whatever.
Kumail Nanjiani is great. We haven't watched a single Prismo episode yet.
We haven't. Well, he's great because he just speaks like Kumail. He doesn't like change his voice at all,
Yeah.
which some celebrities do in the show. I've been talking all the time about Toronto, because Sean's been watching hockey with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I always think of Andy Daly going, "Oh, this is my associate, Toronto," and which is just funny to me. But then Toronto is just Paul Scheer's voice, just like completely Paul Scheer without him even doing like trying to do anything with his voice. It's great.
Yeah, these cartoons are. I remember there was a something of a controversy, a little bit of backlash. I think it was maybe in like the late 90s or something like that, where the trend really got pretty common for voice actors to be denied work in lieu of just like famous celebrities. And people that were really talented voice actors, people that could do like 10 different characters and you wouldn't have any idea it was the same person, would miss out on a job opportunity just because it was like a more famous name that had appeared on screen live action.
Right.
And this show is nice because you get a lot of room for cameos from celebrities, but the core cast is still like super talented actual voice actors.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Well said. They didn't sacrifice anything for that. You know, speaking of, you've been talking about your love of animation. Sean and I watched my first 2 ever Miyazaki movies, Studio Ghibli. We watched Spirited Away, and then Totoro the day after. And I enjoyed them a lot, especially Spirited Away. I was like, this is cool. This is great. This is better than I thought it was going to be because it was just so hyped up to me, and it turned out to be a little stranger than I expected, which delighted me.
Yeah, you know, I never really got into that world. Spirited Away in particular, you know, it deserves a rewatch. I admit I should go back and try it again, but I was sort of put off by the narrative structure of that movie.
Of Spirited Away?
Yeah, I feel like it should have been a mini series rather than a movie.
It could have been. I enjoyed that part of it. Like, I was like, oh, that was cool. So much shit happened. That was fun. And like, it flows, and it feels really, when you finish, it was really substantial. We went on a substantive journey that had multiple peaks and valleys, and time to reflect in between them. And I don't know. I kind of like an epic in nature, but I hear what you're saying. That's a valid thought, because I saw that and was like, oh, that was different. I liked that, but I could understand being like,
yeah, I mean, it was epic in the literal sense,
yeah,
like the literary sense. Like, it was episodic, which that always kind of, I don't know, I bump into that a little bit when with movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's going to take an episodic structure, I would prefer to watch it in actual episodes. Like, the movie Kroll?
I've never watched that.
It's like the prototype for bad episodic fantasy structure. Have you seen that movie with Danny McBride, Your Highness?
Oh.
It's a direct parody of Kroll.
Yeah, I must have seen that. I totally forgot that movie existed. Yeah, I mean, episodic movies. I mean, look, I think I've brought it up. It's been leveraged at me that I don't like plot. I think we talked about it in an early episode. I like movies that could be episodic or epic in nature. But I thought Spirited Away was really cool. Had lots of symbolism in it. Had lots to be drawn on from old Japanese folklore. Like, I love talking about lore, and this was some like true deep cultural lore, which was really fun. And I just thought it was strange. The movie was stranger than I thought it would be for being, touted as like potentially the greatest animated movie of all time. And I was like, when people say the greatest animated movie of all time, you think in your head like one thing, and then when it was stranger than I thought it would be, that made me happy.
Yeah, it's definitely offbeat
because I love strangeness.
And in that regard, it seems way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
It's much more similar to Adventure Time than it is to like traditional anime.
Yeah. Or Disney or Pixar. Yeah. Like, even though that they like exist in the same realm. I mean, I guess people could claim, I haven't seen all the Pixar movies, especially the last few, which reportedly they just keep one-upping themselves in terms of quality of movie, but I need to watch them. But this one I thought was really cool. And I like watching movies, especially Japanese movies, which my brother and I have been watching, and Ozu and Kurosawa, now Miyazaki, and there's more that we'll see, is just like the subverting of what we're used to seeing as like American film viewers is just really satisfying and awesome and delightful to me. In these movies, like, all of them aren't afraid of like quiet in the movies, or having like film people talk about letting the movie breathe, in that there are points in the movie where you then like bring the action or whatever's happening down to very low, so that it's not like, it's not like scene, where are we going, what does this mean, like, by having longer scenes, having actual dead time in the movie is really, I really enjoy that. And Ozu in particular will then subvert things. My brother brought this up. Somebody online said it, but like, maybe it was Bill Hader. Somebody was talking about Good Morning, which has become one of my favorite movies of all time. This is a movie set in the 50s. Kids want a color TV. Parents don't want to get it for them. There's a lot of generational divide happening. But one of the central conflicts in the movie is that these kids want this TV. And there is no scene in the movie in which they get the TV. That would be the climax, right? In this movie, they want the TV, There's all this like back and forth. Then eventually they get home, the TV's in the box, and they see it, they go, and then they walk past it, and the next day they're watching the TV. So like they don't actually show them getting the TV. The what would traditionally be the climax is thus implied in the movie, and it really just goes to show that like, oh, it's not really about getting the TV. It's about like the whole journey around getting the TV that's important and stuff. And I don't know. I just love that shit. I love being thrown a little bit.
Yeah.
Does that sound fun to you, or does that sound like annoying?
I don't know. Well, I've never gravitated towards those movies in the past, but it's been a while since I tried it, so
yeah,
maybe I'll try it again. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
it's been very difficult recently to hold my attention.
Yeah.
So if it's not an 11-minute episode, it's got to be really action-packed, or else I'm gonna get distracted.
Yeah. No.
My head has been all over the place. Like sitting still for an hour and a half to watch one thing takes a lot of energy for me.
Yeah. I get in those spurts where that happens to me. I get it. Nice. Oh.
The movie I just watched recently was Tenet.
Oh yeah? I've never seen that.
It was the movie that came out in theaters in August trying to save the film industry.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that.
It didn't work. But the movie was amazing.
Okay, cool.
But it was extremely like demanding. Like you have to watch it like intensely.
Was it long?
You have to be it's kind of long. It's like 2.5 hours. But it doesn't let up. There is no room to breathe. Even the scenes without action, it's like are so like intense. Like the dialogue and the acting is very it's demanding of the audience is the way I would put it.
Mm. Okay, well, I like Christopher Nolan. I'm down to watch it at some point, so I will.
A lot of people didn't like it as far as Christopher Nolan movies. I think it's just as high up there as any of his other work.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite time travel storytellers.
There's more time travel in this one?
Yes.
Hey, let's do it. Love it. Cool. Do you want to pick an episode for next week?
Sure.
What are we gonna watch next week? What are we gonna watch? It's the episode generator.
Oh, we did this one.
Holy shit, this happened again.
Yeah, for some reason I don't have it checked off, but we did All Your Fault, right?
Yep.
That was season 5, episode 9. Yeah, Lemon Grab episode.
Then I think that we should probably think about a new series. We actually did get an email about this. Can we get that email song?
Mail.
I can't believe this is happening.
I should actually have said that this is actually real mail. As much I love you, Wilson. Thank you for last week. I think that was when you sent an email just for the theme song. But now we get to play a theme song in honor of real mail. So this one pertains to this issue we're having right now from Montezuma, right?
I guess I don't know their name. I see the email.
Yeah.
But there's no signature.
Yeah, so don't know you, Montezuma or Amizet might be your name. I'd love to hear from you. But I think it was 2 weeks ago. We were like, how is this happening? We need a new generator. We need someone who's going to do it. And this person came in and said, I want to help you. And offered up to even more features to such a program and solution than more than we even probably expected, right, Eric? Like I'm very interested. Basically the moral story is we might have a lead on this, and it might get us even further than we ever imagined we could get due to the help of our fan community.
Yeah. I mean, what episode is this right now? 23? And this has happened twice?
Yeah.
Well,
it's funny because I remember Sean was like, that's going to happen immediately. And I was like, I don't think so. I think Eric and I figured out that wouldn't happen for a long time. And here we are. So we'll see what happens. We got another email too. Now, do you play the theme again for another email, or do I just, or that's more for the segment?
Sure, let's play it again.
Mail.
All right. And
we got an email from Eric Saxton. I know him. He plays in a band called Runaway Ricochet. They're from Minnesota.
Hey.
They're good.
Hell yeah. And really nice email. And thanks for that, buddy. New friend to me, Nick. And yeah, I mean, some of the feedback that I have gotten, Eric was alluding or said this directly in his, and some of my friends have seen this, is that they love the Adventure Time talk, but they also love when we don't talk about Adventure Time. Now, if you feel that way, especially if you listened to episode 22, in which we went gloriously off track and we're just on fire last week. If you still feel that way, I would love to hear from you at didyousee@gmail.com. If that's what you like. I would love to hear if there's any hardcore Adventure Time fans that have made their way here. Send us an email, no matter when you're hearing this, be it on today, January 13th, 2021, or 4 years in the future. Hit us up on an email. I would love to hear what kind of people we got in here.
Right. Yeah. These podcasts will last as long as the internet, I suppose.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about that this week. I guess we kind of share some personal information about ourselves on this podcast. You think the CIA or FBI is listening and just compiling evidence to use against us in the future?
That's interesting. I've thought about how much personal information I'm sharing, and hadn't thought about it with those consequences. Have we said anything that's... Well, I mean, I guess maybe I've played it a little closer to the chest than you have at times.
Let's, I don't know, let's throw out some buzzwords.
Oh, no.
I mean, I did just say CIA and FBI. How about KGB?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. The CIA and the FBI, we just had people try to overthrow our government, and a lot of those people are not in jail yet. So are they really going to be are they really going to come for us?
I do enjoy the idea of an FBI agent trying to build a case against us for whatever reason and having to sift through 283 hours of Adventure Time podcasts.
Jeez, yeah. That must happen in cases sometimes. I'm sorry. Hey, FBI, CIA guy who's got this in your earbuds, maybe you're going for a jog or doing laundry at home. I'm sorry that I just taunted you about the whole Capitol thing. I know that's probably wasn't your doing and you're just trying hard at your job, but just don't arrest me. I'll taunt other people. We I don't even need to taunt anybody else about I feel like we went far enough into the political arena in the last one. I'm trailing off now. We can just end this episode.
Well, anyway, Eric Saxton says that he enjoys the banter involving music and Jeff Rotenstock. We talk about Jeff all the time. I'm gonna make a Jeff theme song.
You said every time there's a Jefference?
Jefference. Play that Jefference theme music.
Jefference.
Hey. No, it is funny. When you love somebody, they do come up. I've had that with Sean with even I have another guy I love, Bill Callahan. and like it's almost becomes a meme sometimes when I bring up Bill Callahan. I'm like, oh, it's like that Bill Callahan lyric. Or like we went to Waterloo Records and I was like, hey Sean, look, it's Bill Callahan. But I was actually thinking about Jeff the other day in a similar context because I reorganized all of my records. I organized them by decade, and I was just looking at all the goddamn Jeff Rosenstock vinyl I have. I have all the Bomb records, and I have all his solo records, LPs, and I have all of the Antarctigo except for one, which at this point it's like, I guess I just need to man up and buy that. I don't have the live Jeff record on vinyl, which maybe that's a mistake. I don't know. At this point, it's like, do I need them all on vinyl? But when you get this far deep in, you're like, I might as well keep buying. But I was literally just like, well, I guess I keep talking about this guy because he's put out a record, like looking at them in my hands. I'm like, every year for 15 years that I like to listen to. I'm like, I guess that keeps you in my mind, you know?
Yeah. No Dream album of the year 2020.
Yeah. It was really good. Every time he comes out, I'm like, oh, it's cool. It's more Jeff Rosenstock music. And then I live with it for a couple weeks. And I'm like, oh, no. And now, like, all the differences start to illuminate. And I'm like, oh, wow, there's so much new territory that he's covered. It's great. Great lyrics. I don't know. There's more Jeff talk to happen. So thank you, Eric, though. I mean, I read that email to Sean, and I was like, I read it, and Sean went, dude, what more do you want than someone to send an email like that? And I was like, exactly. I'm like, that is the dream. Like, this guy gets it, like, on the level we're operating at. So thank you, Eric. Thank you, Montezuma. Thank you, everyone who sent us an email or listening consistently. Really appreciate you. Yeah, you know, it seems like we're welcoming like a couple new people in at a time, and it's really exciting. And it's good to hear from you. I'm excited to get more guests on this year and make more songs and get to know more people. Like, if we get enough people in the door, like one day maybe we could start a Facebook group or a Discord or something. I don't know.
Sure. I don't know how any of that works, but
well, we're still a ways off. We're still building this thing, and maybe one day. I'm just talking out loud at this point. Thinking out loud.
I would love to do a live episode.
Yeah,
I don't think we have enough listeners all in one place where it would work.
I know we could see the listeners, especially for Spotify, like by where they live, and there's like people are spread out. But I don't know. I'm glad you said that. We're just manifesting things into the world right now. So let's keep it going. I don't know. I'm thankful for everybody that listens to this podcast. Makes me happy. Anything else before we sign off? Oh, rate us on Apple Podcasts, please. That's what I would say.
Yeah. So we never solved the problem that we had. So we're going to just run the episode generator again.
Oh, I forgot.
What are we gonna watch next week? What are we gonna watch? It's the episode generator.
Okay. Dude, this episode, this random number generator sucks. I mean, I guess this is technically possible, but I didn't expect it to do that. It went from 113 to 115. And that's fine. We've got a little cluster of episodes from season 5 that are all very close together that we've done. Season 5, episode 11, Bad Little Boy. I think that's a Fiona and Cake episode. I think. Is it?
We haven't done one of those yet, right?
Not yet.
Well, that is exciting to me.
Yep, it's a Fiona and Cake episode. Bad Little Boy. Season 5, episode 11. It's a Rebecca Sugar episode. We like those.
Oh, yeah, we do. Cool.
All right. Rate us, subscribe us, email us.
All of it. Bye, people.
Peace out, y'all.